Fellow gardeners, I've got to share something that completely revolutionized my composting game. After years of waiting months for decent compost, stumbling upon this single-ingredient hack felt like discovering gardening gold. In just 3 weeks, I transformed a pile of kitchen scraps and yard waste into the richest, blackest humus I've ever produced. The secret? Coffee grounds, but not in the way you might think. Like many of you, I started my composting journey with high hopes and mixed results. I dutifully layer my browns and greens, turn the pile religiously, and wait, and wait, and wait some more. 6 months later, I'd have something that resembled compost. But it was never that deep, chocolatey black gold I saw in gardening magazines. The texture was chunky, the color was disappointing, and honestly, I was starting to wonder if fast, high-quality composting was just a myth. That all changed when I discovered the power of used coffee grounds as a composting accelerator. Not just adding them to the pile, that's basic gardening 101, but using them strategically as the foundation for explosive microbial activity. Here's what makes this hack so powerful. Used coffee grounds are the perfect pH buffer and microbial catalyst that most home composters are missing. Fresh coffee grounds are acidic, but used grounds are nearly neutral with a pH around 6.5. This creates the ideal environment for beneficial bacteria and fungi to multiply rapidly. But here's the game changer. It's not about the coffee grounds themselves, it's about what comes with them when you collect them properly. When I started picking up used grounds from my local coffee shop, I noticed they came with something extra: coffee filters. Those seemingly insignificant paper filters turned out to be the missing link in my composting system. Coffee filters are made from fine paper fibers that break down incredibly quickly, creating microscopic channels throughout your compost pile. These channels serve as highways for air circulation and moisture distribution, the two critical factors that separate slow, anaerobic composting from fast, aerobic decomposition. The used coffee grounds provide nitrogen and attract beneficial microorganisms, while the filters create the perfect structure for oxygen flow. Together they form what I call the espresso effect, a concentrated burst of microbial activity that transforms your compost pile into a biological furnace. When you layer coffee grounds and filters throughout your compost pile, you're essentially creating thousands of tiny composting reactors. Each filter acts as a biodegradable scaffold that maintains air pockets while slowly decomposing and feeding the microbes. The result? Internal temperatures that reach 140 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit within days, not weeks. The technique is surprisingly simple, but the timing and ratios matter. I start with a base layer of coarse brown materials, shredded cardboard, dry leaves, or small twigs. This creates drainage and prevents the pile from becoming waterlogged. Next comes the magic layer, a generous spread of used coffee grounds mixed with torn coffee filters. I aim for about 2 cups of grounds and 10 to 15 filters per cubic foot of compost material. The filters should be torn into roughly palm-sized pieces, not shredded but broken up enough to distribute evenly. Then I add my regular compost ingredients: kitchen scraps, grass clippings, more brown materials. But here's the crucial part. Every 8 to 10 inches, I add another coffee grounds and filter layer. This creates multiple microbial hot zones throughout the pile instead of just one at the bottom. Water is critical during this process. The pile should feel like a wrung-out sponge, moist but not dripping. I check moisture daily for the first week because the rapid decomposition generates heat that evaporates water quickly. Monitoring temperature became my obsession, and for good reason. By day 3, my thermometer was reading 130 degrees Fahrenheit in the center of the pile. By day 7, it hit 155 degrees. This sustained high heat is what kills weed seeds and pathogens while accelerating decomposition. The beauty of the coffee filter hack is that it maintains these high temperatures longer than traditional methods. Instead of the usual temperature spike followed by a gradual decline, my pile maintained optimal temperatures for nearly 2 weeks straight. Around day 14, I noticed the pile had shrunk by almost half its original size, a sure sign that intensive decomposition was happening. The smell changed too, from the slightly sour odor of fresh scraps to the earthy sweet aroma of rich humus. Not every attempt was perfect. My first try was too wet, and I learned that coffee grounds retain moisture more than I expected. If your pile starts smelling sour or ammonia-like, it's gone anaerobic. Add more brown materials and torn cardboard to absorb excess moisture and create air spaces. Temperature too low? You might not have enough coffee grounds, or they might be too old. Fresh used grounds work best, ideally collected within 24 to 48 hours of brewing. Most coffee shops are happy to save them for gardeners. Just ask nicely and bring your own container. If the pile isn't heating up at all, check your carbon to nitrogen ratio. The coffee grounds provide nitrogen, but you still need adequate brown materials. I found that a 2-to-1 ratio of browns to greens works perfectly with this method. This method didn't just speed up my composting, it improved the quality dramatically. The finished humus has a finer texture, richer color, and better water retention than anything I'd produced before. Plants respond noticeably better to this compost, with improved growth and disease resistance. The coffee shop connection also solved my supply issues. Building relationships with local cafes means a steady stream of quality composting materials, and many shops appreciate the environmental partnership. Once you master the basic technique, scaling up is straightforward. I now maintain 3 rotating piles, starting a new one every 3 weeks. This gives me a continuous supply of finished compost year-round. For smaller spaces, the method works in tumblers too. Just adjust the quantities proportionally, and expect slightly longer times due to reduced pile size and heat retention. The key is consistency, both in ingredient ratios and maintenance. This isn't a set-and-forget method, but the daily temperature checks and occasional turning become surprisingly addictive when you see the results. This coffee grounds and filter hack transformed my garden and my relationship with composting. In just 21 days you can go from composting skeptic to humus producer, creating black gold that would make any master gardener jealous. Ready to revolutionize your compost game? Try this method and let me know your results in the comments below. If this hack helps your garden thrive, don't forget to subscribe to Soil Sensei for more game-changing gardening secrets, and share this article with fellow gardeners who are ready to take their composting to the next level. Your plants and your patience will thank you.